Hello, I'm Bud Angel, the Director of North American ECM Channel Sales for IBM. I've had the distinct pleasure of working with Image Process Design, or IPD as they're also known, for over 18 years. IPD has been and continues to be one of our premier partners, not only in the insurance industry, but in our partner program overall. Today we'd like to talk about the challenges and solutions around new business enrollment and underwriting as it relates to the insurance industry. To begin, I'd like to introduce Steve Racine. Steve is the founder and chief executive officer of Image Process Design, and Steve will go into more details about IPD's Altera P8 for Healthcare solution that addresses these important customer requirements.
Thanks, Bud. IPD is the insurance industry's leading provider of package work process and content management solutions. With 18 years of domain expertise developing business applications exclusively for insurance, IPD enjoys a blue-chip, highly referenceable customer base of insurers with a strong track record of recurring rollouts. There are many challenges facing new business and enrollment operations today. For one, membership growth is increasingly dependent on turnaround times. Customer expectations and service level agreements require higher levels of operational performance, and when these are not achieved, insurers experience poor customer acquisition rates, satisfaction, and retention, which can seriously impact the bottom line. The volume and complexity of new business and enrollment transactions, combined with dependencies on paper-based and manual business processes, has led to the inconsistent, time-consuming, and very costly administration of healthcare enrollments. As such, insurers need comprehensive solutions that improve the efficiency of new business and enrollment processes and reduce administrative expenses. The solution must enable them to efficiently manage complex cases requiring interdepartmental coordination. Once a new group, individual, or non-group family plan is underwritten and approved, the company must rely on the automated solution to manage compliance with service level agreements for installing new members within allowable timeframes. Flexibility is critical. The system must support the rapid creation and modification of business processes as needed. Additionally, the solution must provide support for outsourcing of processes or even sub-processes, often to overseas companies.
To avoid these challenges, IBM and IPD have partnered to present a complete solution in the insurance industry. With IBM's P8 platform and IPD's Altera P8 for Healthcare, we now support end-to-end management of new member enrollment and underwriting. IPD's solutions have been designed and built by industry experts and based on real-world customer requirements.
Altera P8 supplies a complete application built on the IBM P8 platform, including many features specific to the optimization of new business and enrollment processes. The solution is scalable to the largest numbers of users across geographically dispersed operations. It delivers improved performance, reduced cost, compliance with contractual mandates, and responds flexibly to changing business conditions. Altera P8 delivers a low total cost of ownership and a compelling return on investment. In addition, IPD clients report dramatic performance improvements and other benefits, including cycle time reductions of 90% or more, productivity increases of better than 45%, and processing cost reductions exceeding 40%, within a fully configurable solution that is often deployed across most of the core operational areas of insurance organizations. As an out-of-the-box supported application, Altera P8 is proven to implement faster and with lower risk than custom-built solutions. Many IPD clients require no coding effort whatsoever to meet their exact requirements.
To go into further detail regarding the challenges and trends in the insurance industry, especially around new enrollment, I'd like to introduce James Watson, the Chief Executive Officer of Doculabs. Doculabs is a consulting firm that is well known and respected for assisting companies to develop sound technical strategies for content and process-related applications. They help clients leverage their current ECM investments through objective analysis and in-depth market knowledge.
Thanks, Bud. In this webinar, we're going to be talking about some of the challenges the health insurance industry faces as it relates to content management and the new business and enrollment process. I'll provide you some of the best and worst practices that we're seeing in our consulting practice as clients try to leverage content and process management technologies similar to those offered by IBM and IPD to address these challenges. Finally, I'll provide you a number of rich examples, specific applications where we think there's ripe opportunity to use content and process management to address industry challenges such as affordability, flexibility, and compliance. As we all know, the cost of healthcare has increased significantly over the last 10 years. And the opportunity to dive into applications like claims administration and claims processing has been something most health plans have focused on significantly and with some pretty significant results. The next opportunity we see is in the area of new business and enrollment, where we can acquire and maintain existing plan members in a cost-effective way. So why don't we get started? Hi, I'm James Watson, and in this webinar, we're going to talk about the use of content and process automation in the healthcare industry, specifically around new business and enrollment. The objectives of the presentation are to outline, of course, who Doculabs is, talk about some of the key challenges in the industry, best and worst practices that we've witnessed, as well as application opportunities. What are the rich places that we see opportunities for savings? And where possible, I'll provide you with a number of metrics. Why is it so critical that we're talking about using content management in health insurance? Well, specifically, we're seeing healthcare costs rising over the last 10 years. And as we begin to see this term called consumerism used in the industry, and consumerism is really a foundation for providing choice to us as individuals, trying to make intelligent procurement decisions around different plan options, around whether we take pharmacy benefits, vision benefits, what the deductibles would be. All of these choices are valuable for us to hopefully drive costs down, but also can be somewhat overwhelming and certainly add a lot of complexity to the enrollment and new business process. So I'm going to try to drive into that process and identify those places where we see health plans finding savings and opportunity for cost reduction. If you don't know Doculabs, we're a consulting firm that's been in business for 15 years. We have a long history of working with health plan providers, and we've done that with three primary tenets. First, we remain totally objective. We don't resell or implement any of the software solutions in the marketplace, allowing us to be extremely candid in our recommendation to the customers that we serve. The second is our focus on content and process automation. That allows us to go a level deeper than many of the consultancies you see in the marketplace. The third thing it affords us is an opportunity to provide very, very detailed metrics to set expectations for plan providers. They can know from their peer groups and benchmarking that when we say you think you can drive unit costs down by 10% or 30%, it's based on rich experiential data. And that's allowed our customers to drive much, much deeper into solving these complex problems. Now I'd like to talk a little bit about where we see the industry today in terms of challenges, trends, and priorities. This table represents what I think is a fairly concise view of where our clients are trying to go with content and process automation. On the left side, you see a number of the key business drivers. And then, of course, the different content applications that we think are poised for automation. When you think about this first notion, consumerism, and I brought that up in my introduction, it's really the idea that health plan providers can either gain or lose market share by becoming attracted to us as individuals. So whether we're an employee, a retiree, a governmental agency member, we are now faced with the opportunity to make different decisions around deductibles and whether we'll subscribe to certain additional benefits. We're all, of course, constrained by household income and contributions made by our employers. And as we look at that dynamic, we see a number of opportunities where content management and process automation can be applied, whether it's personalized marketing communications to talk specifically to the Watson household, whether it's the ability to provide me rich analytics to compare different plans and to show how one might be more attractive given the demographics of our house. And then, of course, the electronic enrollment process. One of the very tedious tasks that we need to go through every year. Self-service is the key to affordability. And here we've really seen a lot of progress in the industry as providers develop rich portals and where we can go in and look at explanations of benefits and see summary statements. We can look at the credentials of a physician. And of course we can verify the eligibility to make sure we can get into a plan. And the last thing I mentioned was compliance. The new federal rules of civil procedure, the litigation that's going on requiring extensive e-discovery, really dictate that we have to have robust records management, and email being the primary form of correspondence. We need to look at that too and ensure that we're using that tool appropriately. For our health plan providers, as I said, claims automation has been a big focus, driving the cost out of processing a claim. Now we're seeing, and I think most plans have been fairly successful there. Now we're seeing organizations look at the new business and enrollment process. And I'd highlight the fact that for every dollar of premium that a plan provider makes, only about 80% is paid in benefits. And whether, I don't use that statistic as a judgment, but if that number could go to 85 cents or 90 cents, 90 cents of every dollar paid in benefits, we all win. And that's where the health plan providers and the consumers, you and I, are trying to go in this industry. The opportunity, of course, is for suppliers to provide the technologies to drive automation and content management. The key to leveraging content and process automation is easier said than done. There are a number of challenges faced by organizations today, including long timelines, over-customization, the lack of measurement and metrics. We're seeing the industry really look for new solutions to this problem. We're looking for configurable solutions rather than those that have to be coded. We're looking for solution providers to build pre-built interfaces and workflow templates to allow plan providers to come in and take those tools, and rather than have an implementation timeline of 12 months, drive that down to 4 or 5 months. These are some of the key things we're seeing in the marketplace and the plan providers are looking for from solution providers. When we think at a more specific level about the challenge of new business and enrollment, we try to break it down into the core processes that must be supported and, of course, automated. Here in the vertical columns, I've outlined the primary process that most plan providers go through, ranging from the plan sale on the left. This is the process, for example, when Doculabs is solicited by providers such as Blue Cross, United Health Group, Humana, whatever the case may be, where they come in and they want to be candidate for our employees to use their insurance. Once the sale's been made, we have the pre-enrollment process. This goes on typically in the third quarter of every year, in which the employees of Doculabs, for example, are solicited by the chosen providers and shown what they can get in terms of different plan options. The enrollment process is when the Watson household, for example, makes its decision. Then we have to go in and tell the plan provider about our dependents and make our selections in terms of deductible and things like that. This is where the heavy lifting really goes on in the back office for the plan providers. In the case of a plan conversion, meaning the Watson household switch from one plan to another, we've got a net new enrollee that we need to include and capture things like birth date, and we need to do that in a very cost-effective and quality manner. Because if we get these things wrong, the rest of the year is going to be problematic for the Watson household, driving up call center inquiries, talk time in the call center, correspondence back and forth, and of course the likelihood that we'll lose the Watson household next year during open enrollment. The post-enrollment process is also a very tenacious back office effort. We've got a small army of human beings trying to make sure that all the required materials that we're supposed to send to the Watson household are sent. This is also our opportunity to try to influence the behavior of the Watson household, direct them to online resources rather than the call center, help them with directories that make sense so we can find physicians in our neighborhood rather than traveling a long way or going to places that might be more expensive than less expensive. And of course is the plan administration. Here we've got the day in and day out blocking and tackling that goes on, whether it be generating an explanation of benefit, going through the credentialing process for a physician, cutting a check to a provider, all of those same basic tasks. When we provide our assessment of the industry at large, and again I would emphasize this is based on our experience in working with health plan providers over the last 10 years. I've got the blue, yellow, red kind of designation, the heat map, telling you where we think automation's been effectively applied, and of course those other opportunities for improvement. Right smack dab in the middle is where we've got opportunity. In that pre-enrollment, enrollment, and post-enrollment process, we see a lot of very manual, paper-intensive tasks that are ripe for content and process automation. Here we also see the kinds of documents that we think can be turned into electronic forms. So eligibility verification. Can we pre-fill some of those documents so that the Watson household, when they come in, whether it's me or my spouse, can look at it and say, yep, it's okay. Rather than sending us a form and having us fill it out, sending it back to the insurer, having them type that information, which may or may not result in a quality product. A lot of these tasks are perfect for content and process automation. And it's here where we start to envision the future. As we look at the future state of the industry, where our clients want to go, how they want to leverage content and process automation, I provide you some examples here where we see the real opportunity. And we contrast the current and the future state. And of course you see in there, electronic this, electronic that. Behind the scenes to every one of those electronic forms, we've got an automated workflow that can react or take advantage of input and route things to the appropriate people. Really, our clients are looking to take that straight-through processing approach that they've applied to the claims process and use it in the new business and enrollment process. Even though people think of new business and enrollment as going on once a year, it's such a big process. So many employer plans, so many individual participants are making selections and choices in that third and fourth quarter that we've got a real bottleneck. So maintaining cycle times is a challenge. And I've provided you some examples here. On the left side, that Medicare participant checking the coverage, comparing the plans, all online. We still have to potentially send some pre-filled forms out to them because perhaps they're a 65-year-old individual in the state of California, and we're concerned about them reading and agreeing to what they've selected. In any case, the more we can capture up front, the more we'll be able to drive costs down later in the process. So as we go through that pre-enrollment, enrollment, and post-enrollment process, here we've got the opportunity to take that 80 cents of benefit that we're spending, driving it up 2 or 3 more percent, where we're paying 82 or 83% of that dollar in premium to the benefits of the Medicare participant. This is the kind of value proposition that our healthcare provider customers are looking for. And when we talk about content management and process automation, this is the kind of expectation that we think is reasonable in the industry. So in summary, I've tried to emphasize the fact that content management, while been effectively applied in claims processing, we can also leverage in the new business and enrollment process. It's not an easy task. As I outlined, those 5 key columns from plan sale to pre-enrollment, post-enrollment, all have different document types. They all have different sub-processes. So business analysts and technologists are going to sit down and need to go through each one of those together, map out requirements, and then look to suppliers that have capabilities that have really been proven in the industry. We're seeing big savings though. As I mentioned, 2 to 3 points in terms of percentage gain is a reasonable expectation, but it requires a cross-functional constituent to make it happen. Plan sale is clearly a sales and marketing function. Plan administration, back office function. How do we get those teams together and think about the holistic process? That's where you're going to get the 2 to 3%. And of course, we've worked with a number of clients over the years, and we've got a proven methodology to help organizations map out a strategy that looks at new business and enrollment processes and try to find a way to optimize that, leveraging content and process automation. So I said, I'm James Watson. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to this and welcome questions or inquiry. You've got my contact information in this slide, so if you'd like to reach out to us, we'd be happy to take your inquiry. Thanks so much.
Thank you, James. As you can see, there are many significant and important challenges faced by insurance companies today. IPD and IBM solutions can meet these challenges through the IBM P8 platform and the Altera P8 application. The solution effectively automates mission-critical work processes and significantly improves operational efficiencies, reduces cycle times, and increases service levels and quality. For more information about IPD's Healthcare New Business and Enrollment Solution, please visit our microsite for additional documentation that will detail how IPD and IBM can help your company significantly reduce administrative costs and streamline your new business and enrollment processes. Or feel free to contact IPD or IBM for further information.